In 2024, I quit my job, started a $10,000 a month business in the next 60 days, and shut it all down only 6 months later. This is the story of how I built it and why I decided to shut it down and start all over again. I'll also give you the exact framework I used to build the business so fast, as well as some insights so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Now, for context, in 2023, I was working as an architect and I designed some pretty cool custom homes. But I was severely overworked and very underpaid, and I felt like there was no real meaning in what I was doing. I mean, yeah, I made some really cool houses for some rich people, but I asked myself, is this really all my life is? So I decided to make a career switch and started working at a tech startup as a UX designer. I mean, I heard how amazing tech is. It had all the bells and whistles. I saw on TikTok how cushy it is and how much flexibility you have. And it just seemed like an amazing environment to work in. And I was super stoked. And I also got the chance to work for a tech startup. And it was a company that was building an app I genuinely believed would have a positive impact on the world. So I was excited about doing meaningful work at a place that treated me well and paid me fairly. But 6 months in, I was still overworked, still underpaid, and I was still questioning what the meaning of my work and my life was. And it took a while for me to see it, but I soon realized that it was the same BS, just a different field and a different place. And I was tired of being treated poorly, and I was even more tired of putting my well being and my future in somebody else's hands. Actually, the most pivotal moment was when I came across the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And if you haven't read it, it clearly explains the difference between trading your time for money, like being an employee, versus building systems that make you money regardless of how much time you put in. And that's what business owners and investors try to do. It showed me that there is a path to financial freedom. And the life that I dreamed of having wasn't so crazy. I didn't want to be tied to my desk all the time, working hours that I was told I had to work in, and not having the flexibility in life. The book managed to put everything I had been feeling for the last so many years into words that I wasn't able to. And it made sense that there is a better way to make money and live life and have meaning in your life. And so I knew that working at this company and working for all these different kinds of companies was not going to be the rest of my life. And that's when I saw the possibility of freedom through online business. After being able to work remotely during COVID and know what flexibility and some freedom felt like, I had a really hard time commuting 3 hours a day to and from an office to do a job that I could do just as good, if not better, from home, all while being grossly underpaid for the work that I was doing. And I live in the greater Toronto area, so yes, commuting 3 hours a day is kind of normal. A lot of people do that or commute even further just to go downtown and come back to where they live every day. So when I saw that online business gave you time and location freedom, and you could work when you want from wherever you want, I immediately knew that I needed to adjust my aim. And this became my new target. This became the dream life that I was now working towards. So I decided to quit my job at the tech startup and I started my own freelance design agency. And the only reason I was confident enough to do this was that I have been in the world of design for 12 years and I had built a network in that time that I could reach out to. I was confident I would be able to get at least some clients and make some money, and just at least enough that I could get by. So I quit my job and I started doing warm outreach. And before I dive into that, I just want to let you know that I actually put together my warm outreach strategies and put it into a document. It's my warm outreach script. So it's basically the exact framework I use to message people, talk to people, and how I tried to convert those people into potential clients or meet new clients through them. If you want that, you can just click the link in the description below and you can get a copy of my warm outreach scripts for you to use too. Now, if you're unfamiliar, warm outreach is when you reach out privately to people that you already know. This could be a phone call, a text message, or even an email. Phone calls I find work the best because it builds the most emotional connection. You can hear a person's voice, but not everybody wants to be called nowadays. So, a text message is also a great way to start a conversation if you have someone's phone number, but you don't think that they would appreciate the call. So when I message someone, I start out with a little bit of an introduction, asking them how they're doing. And if it's someone that I haven't talked to in a really long time, I'll do a little bit of research beforehand. So I'll check out their Instagram or their LinkedIn or wherever they're active and just see what's been new. Maybe they went on a trip or they got married or they had a baby or anything really. And I just ask them a question about it. Asking them a question about something they've been up to just helps break the ice and re-warm the relationship, so you're off to a good start. I also want to give people a chance to talk about their own lives before I start talking about myself because people love to talk about themselves. And that's not a dig in any way, it's just a fact and it's part of being human. So, to warm up relationships that might have gone a little bit cold, I want to let them start by talking about their exciting updates. And just always remember that you are a human talking to another human. When we get into the mindset that we want to try and make a sale, sometimes we feel like a salesy robot, and you're not going to build good connections that way. Just remember to have the conversation like you're genuinely interested, and you should be genuinely interested, and that person's going to feel the energy and want to reciprocate it. After breaking the ice, I would then ask one or two follow-up questions using the ACA framework. Alex Hormozy talks about this in his book $100 Million Leads, but essentially the ACA framework stands for acknowledge, compliment, ask. If I saw that Bill just got a new puppy, I'd message him saying, "Hey Bill, hope things are good with you. Just saw you got a new puppy. How's that been?" Now, Bill might respond, "Hey Vic, I'm great and the puppy is adorable. We named him Jimothy." Now, here I want to do a couple of things that if you do it too, it'll make you kind of an all-star. First, I acknowledge what Bill said by mirroring back what he just said to me, showing that I understood it. So I might say something like, "You named your puppy Jimothy?" Then I compliment him. Even though I think Jimothy is a weird name for a dog or any creature for that matter, I'm not going to tell Bill that. If it's possible, I also try to associate a positive character trait to what I'm about to tell him, to that compliment, so that he feels good about himself. And I tie this into the ask. So I might say, "That's an amazing name. You must be really disciplined if you're still working full time and taking care of Jimothy." So I acknowledged what he said, complimented him, and associated a positive character trait, disciplined, with what he's doing. Now I ask a question to move the conversation into the direction that I want. If my offer is around fitness, I might ask, "Do you still get any time to work out?" If it's around self-care, I might ask, "Do you get any time to take care of yourself?" So once they've responded and you've gone back and forth maybe 1 to 3 times, that's when you make the ask. Here's the exact message I would send when I was trying to offer my UX design services. By the way, I've started a freelance design agency that offers UX design and web design services. I do everything from research, wireframing, visual design, and user testing. Do you know anyone that needs design help so they can build a product or scale their business? Now, this isn't some super complex message that I'm sending. It's really simple and to the point. Alex Hormozy even used a message that was very similar because it's so darn simple. I sent this message to everybody I knew, people I had as contacts in my phone, people I had on Facebook or Instagram, messaged people on LinkedIn. I just messaged everybody that I could. And this message also does something subtle, but that's super important to note. And that's that it's asking, "Do you know anyone who's interested?" And I'm not asking, "Are you interested in my offer or my services?" Now, this subtle difference does 2 important things. One, it removes the awkwardness. If you ask people you know to become your client, even if you're offering something amazing for free, they can sometimes feel uncomfortable saying no to you because they want to support you, but they also don't want to give you their money or even their time. So shutting you down can be really unpleasant for them. But by asking if they know anyone, it makes it super easy for them to either say, no, sorry, but I'll let you know if I think of anyone down the road, or, yeah, I actually know a guy who might be perfect to work with you. And when you get an introduction to a prospect rather than just doing cold outreach, it significantly increases the chances of them working with you because there's this foundation of trust. If they trust the person who's introducing you to them, then there's a much higher chance that they're going to trust you too. Or if the person you're reaching out to is interested in working with you themselves, they can just say, actually, I'm looking for what you're offering. Can I work with you? So it's a very frictionless way to possibly get a client or at least an introduction. The second thing this question does is it exponentially increases your network. Maybe when you started out, you went through all your contacts and you had 300 people on your list. But if each of those people knows another 300 people, then your network just went from 300 to 90,000 potential clients. I mean, you never know who might know someone who would be a perfect client to work with you. And this is why warm outreach is so powerful. It's the best and the fastest way to get clients in the beginning when you don't have an audience and you don't have anyone ready or lined up to work with you. And the reason I say warm outreach is the best strategy to use in the beginning is because that's exactly how I started making $10,000 a month in 60 days after I quit my job. I called and messaged people and they either became clients, introduced me to someone who became a client, or went a layer further where that person they introduced me to somebody else who then became a client. So you greatly expand your web of connections and your network when you do warm outreach like this. And on top of that, if people are warm leads and they become your clients and you do a good job with them, they're more likely to refer other people to you. And with referrals plus warm outreach, your business can blow up super fast. Okay, so clearly things were going well for me. I had clients and I was making money and I didn't have a boss that was always telling me what to do or where I had to be. I was much happier than I was at any of my previous jobs. So, why did I shut it all down 6 months later? I shut it all down because I had this huge epiphany. Even though I was making a lot of money, I realized that I was still kind of sad. And I was also stressed and unfulfilled and just unhappy. I felt like I was tired of doing the things that I had to do every day, and I realized something. I don't actually like being a designer. I didn't care about the work I was doing. It was monotonous and it just felt like a chore. And I know that's a really weird thing to say considering I went to university for almost 8 years to become a designer, and I worked for 5 years as one. But it took me that long to realize that I did not want to do this for the rest of my life. Now, obviously, I'm very fortunate to even have been in a situation where I could make that realization. I know there are a lot of people out there just struggling to make money and pay the bills, and they don't have that luxury of thinking about doing something that makes them happy. But I worked my way into this situation where I could realize how unhappy I was. And that gave me the chance to figure out what I actually wanted to do with my life. I was able to ask, what could I do that would give me a sense of purpose as well as make me good money so that I could live a comfortable life? I mean, I knew I still wanted an online business because I wanted that time and location freedom, but I had to figure out what kind of business I really wanted to do. And after reflecting on all my skills, my passions, my interests, my experiences, I realized that I really love business. I love helping people and teaching people how to start and scale their businesses. And I had a few friends who were yoga or fitness coaches, and after talking to them, that's when I realized, Why don't I just become a business coach? Why not just help other people start and launch their businesses so that they can have freedom too? I knew there must be thousands of people out there who wanted to have a better quality of life than what their 9 to 5 could provide, but maybe needed help getting there like I did. And so I made it my mission to help 1,000 people make a full-time living and a full-time income online with their own coaching businesses. And here we are today. I'm making a full-time income doing something that I love, and that gives me the freedom to live life the way that I want. And it also gives me the purpose that I was looking for while I help clients replace their 9 to 5s with a full-time online income. If my story inspired you and you want help starting your own online business or getting your first few clients, I strongly recommend you use the same warm outreach method that I did. And to help you out with that, I put together my warm outreach scripts into a document so that you can just go through those, adapt them to your conversations, and speed up that entire process. It goes through exactly what you need to do and what you need to say. And using this document, it should just be a little bit of a shortcut, helping you get your business off the ground. So if you want that script, just click the link in the description below and you can get it for free and start doing the warm outreach. And I hope you get some good clients real soon.